Hello and welcome to the Dare to Dream radio show. This is your host, Deborah Dachinger. Real pleasure to be here. And I want to give some shout outs to some people. I heard, I keep missing this fellow who wrote to me, but I did hear from somebody in the film industry. In addition to that, Brian Kaplan. And I love that I'm hearing from so many men. This is wonderful. I'm glad you're out there dreaming and supporting and listening and participating in this show. So Brian wrote great stuff. Your messages are wondrous, phenomenal suggestions that can be implemented when one realizes they are ready to take the step. Thanks for your message. There are no coincidences in life, only coincigods. Thanks, Brian. And then we heard from Lisa Tenner, the nationally renowned book writing coach and author, who wrote, Debbie, that truly was one of the best interviews I've ever had, better than my interview with PBS. You're such a thorough researcher, and I loved your questions. It was dynamic, spontaneous, fun, and more interesting than most. I also love your introduction and how your personality shines through and shapes your show. Thank you for the interview, for introducing me to your listeners, and all the publicity work. Wishing you the best. I love your message. And last, we heard from the wonderful artist and now author, Gail Etcheverry. If you haven't heard of her, check out her stuff. She's pretty amazing. And she wrote in, always a pleasure to hear your voice. You are fantastic, Deb. So thanks to all our listeners. We love hearing from you. And there's many ways to get in touch with us. And those are all on my website. You can go to deborahdachinger.com. We are going to speak about a particular subject tonight because are you doing your dream job? Tonight is all about your career, your passion, your profession. What do you do every day, cha-ching, to make some money? And are you doing something you just adore? Are you doing something where the time just goes by that you do for free, even though you wouldn't want to, if you could, because you love it that much? Well, if not, tonight I am interviewing a very renowned career intuitive and counselor who has helped thousands and thousands of people to find out what they came into this lifetime to do, their mission, their job, their profession. So I'm anxious to talk to her, and I am dedicating all of tonight just to that in the opening. First, I want you just to imagine that your job and your industry disappears overnight. So imagine that you have to make brand new career choices. And if you were starting over again today, if you have a knowing of what your special talents and gifts are, what would you choose that's different from right now? Would you do what you're doing? Would you do what you're doing and alter it? Or would you let it all go and start anew? And if it's anew, then what would it be? We're not alone. That's what's important. In this world that we live in, often we have very big celebrities and icons that we look at. And I'm going to use a few of them to let you know we're not alone. None of us are alone. All of us go through this. First of all, Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote the very famous Eat, Pray, Love, Thank You, Elizabeth, said, I never had to search for my destiny. I only had to obey it. Why am I here? I'm here to be a writer. No doubt about it. She always knew. And then Al Franken. Do you remember Al Franken, the hysterical Stuart Smalley on Saturday Night Live, the comedian, the writer? Well, Al is now the U.S. Senator from Minnesota. Of course, he used to be a comedy writer and actor. And he said by the time he decided to run for Senate, he already knew that he had transformed his career. He knew that going from being a comedy writer to a performer to writing political books and hosting a daily public affairs radio show was his destiny. So his decision was more of a natural kind of transition than a dramatic break from his past. His parents apparently loved politics and were impressed and really impressed it upon their children to use their power in their lives and to improve other people's lives. Here's another one. The very funny Joy Behar, who is the co-host of The View and also host of the Joy Behar Show, says that she was a really funny kid. You can imagine. She says at 10 years old, the Fuller Brush man used to come to her door and try to sell them Fuller brushes, and she would have him in stitches. Well, she always had this knack for comedy, but she didn't have the confidence. She went through her teenage years and lost it all. So she started to pursue other things. Joy Behar was actually a high school English teacher. Can you imagine? I'm sure the class loved her because she was funny, but not a right career career for someone like her. She was almost 40 before she realized, 40 years old before she realized, wow, I'm the funny one at the parties. I'm the one who makes people laugh. This is what I love to do. And she switched careers. She says she thinks that everybody knows who and what they're supposed to be by the time they're 10. Here's a very interesting one. Andrea Bocelli, the Italian singer. To me, a voice from God Goddess, yes? Do you know that after he graduated university, he actually was a practicing lawyer? Can you imagine? So as a child, he used to sing, and he says, I knew I had a special gift. I knew that because everybody asked me to sing, and I was happy to oblige. And that's eventually how his destiny revealed itself. They kept asking, and he suddenly realized, oh, I have a gift. No, this isn't just a fluke. Can you imagine someone of that ilk, that kind of voice? You see, we all don't always get the depth of our gifts and what we're here to do. So someone like Andrea Bocelli said, it took me that long to realize I have a gift and I have an obligation to share it with others. It's that simple. And last, I mentioned earlier Gail Echeverry, who's an artist. Gail is marvelous if you don't know her. She really is an artist in modern times. She has an online show. She sells her art online. She does very well. She just wrote a book. She also does the art for the SAG Awards, Screen Actor Guild Awards, and she also does the art for the Oscars. So in her world, Gail also runs something called God Bless Humanity, which is a charity and does good to promote peace on earth. And Gail wrote an email, which I received, that said, when you do what you love and love what you do, you're a much happier person. And when you're a happy person, it rubs off on others. It's kind of a sneaky way to promote peace in the world, but it works. Happiness is contagious, and that's a very good thing. Today is all about finding your dream career. So take a risk, go where you've never gone, do what you've never done, be who you've never been, because that's the only way you're going to bring in the new you. And it's time for a new you. And I'm going to leave you with this here at the end. When you think about daring to dream, no matter where you are in your life right now, whatever spectrum, depressed, blah, gray matter, exhilarated, happy, joyous, very unhappy, the spectrum of feelings, I want you to choose to adopt this just for now and say, I am so glad I am alive today. I experience great things throughout this day, and I go out and I find the proof for it. Like a mantra, say that. I started out my day in this way, and I said that, and I could tell you so many amazing things when I say look for proof for it that came into my space that were completely amazing and unexpected. The phone calls, the money I found in my wallet, the 2 people who opened doors for me when I had a box in my hand and couldn't even see me coming. I had situation after situation which really went well. I had a plant brought to me by somebody I barely work with who said, just because, thinking of you and thank you. It really was a great day to be alive. It was shifting everything, and instead of looking outside of myself for the confirmation or reaffirmation or the smile on someone else's face, I looked for it from within myself, because when you truly feel, I'm breathing, I'm alive, that alone is amazing. I have this day. I don't know if I have tomorrow, but I have this day. And I am grateful for this day. And this day, I experience great things throughout the whole day. And I spend my day looking for proof of those great things. Dare to dream, and dare to make your dreams come true.